Hi there, I'm Jeremy Shirk with Nebraska Realty, and this is your Realtor Rambling Moment. Today I'm going to recap the importance of a buyer's agent, especially in the current market. I know there's a lot of buyers out there right now, especially if you're under $250,000, who are very frustrated because it seems like the house is sold before it's even hit the market. Especially if you're relying on sites like Zillow or Trulia, which have a small lag time in the amount of time it takes to post. There are listings, especially anything under $180,000 right now, that will sell the same day that it's listed. And that's because as listing agents, there's a lot of pre-marketing that goes on, and because our inventory is a little lower than it traditionally has been for existing homes, and because our number of buyers who are out there is rapidly increasing, with the number of millennials who are looking to buy a house, the number of people who are looking to downsize, the number of flood victims who have lost their houses and are looking to buy. The market's saturated all the way around right now, which is why if you want to be a competitive buyer and you still want to get a good deal on a house, you need to hire a buyer's agent. First things first, what's a buyer's agent do? Well, everybody knows a real estate agent sells houses, obviously sells homes. They represent, a listing agent represents the seller. So the name on the sign in the yard does not represent the buyer. It is their job, it is actually required of them to get the best possible deal for the seller, which means that they are required to actively negotiate against the buyer. In the last 5-6 years, it's become pretty commonplace now for a buyer's agent to represent the buyers. Just like if you went into court, you wouldn't want to go up against an attorney unrepresented yourself. When you're negotiating a real estate transaction, the largest purchase in most people's lives, you don't want to be negotiating against somebody who is trained to negotiate and working actively against you. So a buyer's agent represents the buyer. It is our duty as a buyer's agent to make sure that we are negotiating in favor of the buyer. We always have the buyer's interest at heart. We cannot lie. We have a duty of honesty to everybody, and we cannot hide any material defects to the contract. We're required to give out material information. But otherwise, we have a complete duty of confidentiality to the buyer. We can't disclose information regarding how high you can go, what your financing is, what your motivation is, without your express written permission. And we are trained to tweak not only the amounts of contracts, but also other contingencies that might make you more competitive. The type of financing we can talk to your lender about, whether or not there's an inspection contingency, whether or not we feel that radon should be important, whether we can limit a whole home inspection to just certain major systems that you're concerned about based on the history of the home and what the reports say, what the seller property disclosure says about like when the furnace was replaced or when there'd been service last, things like that. More importantly, especially in this market, realtors do send coming soon information, pre-listing information to each other. So we do have our ear to the ground. We're able to get you into homes faster. Just last week I had a client. We were the first ones into a home. We happened to be in the neighborhood when the home hit the market, and I had set up a search for them. So we got an email. We were in that house within 20 minutes of it being listed. That can make you competitive in a way that searching for Zillow or Trulia, where things can take days or sometimes even weeks to post, will never make you competitive. The best part is that it's very little out of pocket for the buyer to hire a buyer's agent. There are some brokerage fees, which are usually around $300 to $400 depending on the brokerage. But the vast majority of the agent's commission is paid by the seller. When you list a house, the seller pays the listing agent 6 or 7%, and based on the percentage that the seller is paying the listing agent, a portion of that, usually 40% of the total commission, goes to pay the buyer's agent. for selling the house. So you get complete representation and somebody else gets to pay for it. The exceptions to that are if you fall in love with a FSBO, in which case there's a bit more negotiation about who pays for the buyer's agent. Or if there is some anomalous listing. I saw one last week that was listed by the VA, the entity, the actual governmental entity, and they weren't paying the same commission rate, so that one had to be negotiated a little bit more. So my name's Jeremy Shirk with Nebraska Realty. If you are looking to buy a house, I really encourage you. I cannot overstate enough the importance of a buyer's agent, because you cannot in this market be competitive and get the best possible deal without one. So if you're thinking of buying a house, you can give me a call. Or you can message me at jeremyshirk@nebraskarealty.com, or just message me on these links. And I will sit down and talk to you about what you're looking for. We'll find you a couple of houses to look at. We'll talk about what we like and don't like, and we'll get you a great deal. Again, this is your Realtor Rambling Moment. Thanks for watching.